I'm Kathleen Stewart, and I'm the event coordinator for Veriditas. I like to start our gathering by reading the Veriditas mission, and that is that, well, first to describe ourselves as a 501c3 nonprofit, and we are dedicated to inspiring transformation and renewal through the Labyrinth experience. And I just love to read that because it's been what we do in our session together. Today is a special day. Today is a kickoff to the events and the focus on World Labyrinth Day, which is next Saturday, May 3rd. And to do that for us is Christine Katzenmeyer. Christine is a former board member of Veriditas, and while she was a board member, she came up with a program for encouraging funding, and that became the Legacy Labyrinth Project. So she is now the executive director of the Legacy Labyrinth Project. So with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Kathleen. Yeah, Legacy Labyrinth Project. Yes, it did start at Veriditas as a board project, and it just grew and grew and grew. We have 10 labyrinths around the world that are all connected energetically and physically. And we also are doing research on a practice on the labyrinth called contemplative labyrinth activism. My dear friend, Dawn Matheny, who is, as you all know, executive director of Veriditas, asked if I would kick it off, World Labyrinth Day, with a finger walk today with and around mindfulness, which definitely is my second favorite thing to do. My first favorite thing is to walk labyrinths with lots of people. So I get to do both of my favorite things today. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Kathleen. Before we get started, I'm going to ask if you would get a pencil and paper, because we're going to do something special right before we walk the labyrinth. So maybe a piece of paper with that much room to write, at least. And it'll be something that you'll be able to keep later too. So I'll give you a few moments for that. Have your labyrinths ready, and we'll get started. So mindfulness, I just want to give you a brief background about mindfulness. We only have 20 minutes together before we do the labyrinth. But I wanted to say that I've had the great pleasure to study mindfulness for the last 17 years, and I've been teaching mindfulness for the last 17 years. And I got to go to the University of Massachusetts Medical School Center for Mindfulness, and my teacher was Jon Kabat-Zinn, who some of you may know his name, some of you may not. But I did study with him for 3 years, and then he got real famous. So then nobody got to see him as a teacher anymore. He was doing the Oprah thing and all the other things, but it was a pleasure and a blessing to be able to learn mindfulness from him. And just tiny briefly, he has a wonderful story about mindfulness and how it really has come to this country. It's like over 2,000 years old. It's a Buddhist practice, which the Buddhists have done for thousands of years. But he was a research biologist in the basement of the University of Massachusetts Medical School. And he was a Buddhist practitioner and meditator, and he hung out with all of his medical friends and asked the question one day, how are you doing with your patients that have chronic disease or chronic conditions? And he was aghast that the friends of his that were treating people with chronic disease said about 10% get better with the methods and the treatments that they had at that time, which was awful. I mean, it was awful. And so Jon Kabat-Zinn said, well, why don't you send me your hardest cases and we'll just try something. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay. So he taught them how to meditate, and he taught them how to do Zen meditation in particular. And without going through the entire story, the good news is that it started working. And the trick to it, if there is a trick, is that it's a practice and you have to do it. You have to meditate and do mindful practice specifically for the pain over time. But I can tell you, after teaching it for 17 years, it works. And so the other great thing about it is that John Kabat-Zinn also wrote a program called the Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction Program, which is probably the most evidence-based, researched program for people with chronic disease ever. And he was brilliant to be able to do that because there is an 8-week program now called Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction that is for people with chronic conditions and chronic pain. And because it's so evidence-based, it's been reworked and tweaked and, made really, really, really good. So if you have chronic disease or chronic conditions and there is a mindfulness-based stress reduction class in your area, I highly recommend it. And if you want to email me, I'm happy to help you find one as well. One of the things that is the requirement for people that want to teach mindfulness-based stress reduction from the university is that you do silent retreats once a year, 5 to 7 days of being in silence, which is pretty awesome, and to practice every day. And with that, it's a practice that not only has brought me great joy, but it has expanded my life in every way. And being able to do mindfulness practice on a labyrinth is very special as well, which is what I want to share with you today. And you can tell me how you feel about that. So this is a definition of mindfulness. And if you wouldn't mind just reading that to yourself as I read aloud, and just allow yourself to just feel into the words. So mindfulness is awareness that arises through paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally, and sometimes it's in the service of self-understanding and wisdom. So it's a lot of words. I totally get that. But I invite you to just feel into this definition and pick out a word or 2 words that speak to you, that kind of has more of a charge than maybe some of the other words. And just looking at that definition, what are the words or word that might be just jumping out at you? And just hold that, or you could even write it in the chat if you want to. And let's go to the next slide, please. Something really important to, I guess, realize or understand about mindfulness is that mindfulness isn't just meditation. Mindfulness is a practice. Mindfulness meditation is part of part of the practice. But all of these things here in the bullet points are things that you study or can study to have a mindfulness practice. So like paying attention on purpose, which some of you had put in the chat that jumped out at you. Non-judgmental, another one said that as well. Awareness, that's my favorite. Equanimity, mindful listening, mindful eating, mindful walking. All of these are things that are part of the practice. And as you study mindfulness, you study each one of these in depth, and there's actually a much longer list than this, but these are pretty much the basics. Mindfulness meditation is just what it says. It's a meditation. There's several of them actually taught, and we're going to learn one of those today. It really is a way, mindful meditation is really a way just to quiet the mind, focus the mind, and learn how to focus just on one thing. Our days, I'm sure yours are just like mine, where our mind is working all the time, having many, many, many thoughts. And what mindfulness can help us do is to quiet that not necessarily into bliss or into major relaxation, but just to learn how to quiet. So we're not just stressing ourselves out with thought after thought after thought after thought. So what we're going to do today, or one of the ones I wanted to pick out for you today, because we're kicking off World Labyrinth Day, is the part of loving kindness. I would like to see, and this is obviously just my request, but it would be wonderful if we all started World Labyrinth Day with kindness in our hearts for ourselves and for others. So let's go to the next slide, please, Kathleen. These are, or this is just actually it's an AI picture of monks in a forest meditating. And I love this slide because it always helps me to relax, to look at it. It always makes me want to be there. But I brought it to our attention today because it's part of a story. It's a part of the Buddha story, and the Buddha taught his monks the loving kindness meditation, and he taught it to them and in the forest where they were meditating with sounds and nature and smells and all of the senses that come with just being outside, all the senses that get activated. One of the things that would happen, however, when they would be meditating in the forest is that things would come up that would distract them. Things like noises, things like people walking by who didn't look like them, people who did not want to have them even be in the forest, which in the young monks created fear and fear of the unknown, fear of what could happen, which I think is pretty timely for today. Actually, I think we're all going through some of that ourselves. Sometimes the people that would come by to these young monks in the forest would stare while they were meditating, and that only increased the fear for them. When we are in fear, we oftentimes want to flee, we want to fight, we want to freeze. And it's the normal biology of fear that the sympathetic nervous system kicks in and actually allows us to react by running or fighting. And because we still don't know what the unknown will bring, we want to react before we understand. And oftentimes we have regret for acting or reacting, I'm sorry, so quickly. So the Buddha saw this and he wanted to teach the young monks a way to have compassion for themselves, for being in fear, for being in the unknown, because often they would feel badly that they couldn't keep this meditation going, that they would go into fear and would feel badly about that. He wanted to teach them loving kindness, and he wanted to teach them loving kindness, which begins with the understanding that we all struggle and that we all have fear, and that sometimes we berate ourselves for being in fear. Sometimes we react from fear instead of just being with the emotion itself, which allows us to have and make more conscious decisions. So we taught them loving kindness meditation to help them learn that kindness begins with understanding that we all struggle and that we all have fears at times. So next slide, please, Kathleen. So kindness begins with understanding that we all struggle. In Buddhism, they use the word suffering instead of the word struggle. Struggle, I think, is probably more illustrative of really what suffering means in Buddhism. So that's why I use the word here. It's also the first noble truth of Buddhism. In life, we struggle. So I'm going to ask you right now, if you would, as an activity, to think about somebody in your life that has been kind to you. Somebody. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's you who were kind to somebody. But just think about a situation that's happened in your life of kindness. And when that comes up to you, I ask you or invite you to just feel that feeling, what it felt like to be either kind to someone or someone to be kind to you. What did that feel like? And just allow the next couple of moments to be with that feeling. Kindness. What does it feel like? So I want to teach you now this meditation that the Buddha taught his young monks. It's the meditation of loving kindness. And in loving kindness in Buddhism is one word, which I think is brilliant. I don't know where that came from. I tried to research to see who did it, but I don't know. But it's one word, loving kindness, and sometimes you'll hear it called metta, metta, which means the same thing, loving kindness. So, what I'm inviting us to do right now is to sit back. I want to teach you this meditation and do this meditation together. So, go ahead and just sit back in your chair, get comfortable. And if you feel comfortable in closing your eyes, please do. If you don't feel comfortable closing your eyes, just look downwards, what we call soft eyes, and just take a nice deep breath. You may even bring up the picture of sitting in a forest if you like, but just relax in your chair and take another deep breath. And as so often in mindfulness meditation, we invite people to just breathe right into the heart, just like your heart would might be your lungs, but you're just breathing right into the heart, and then you're exhaling from the heart. So just allow it to breathe into the heart. Allow yourself to breathe into your heart and exhale from the heart. And as you continue to do that, I'm going to give a couple instructions. Continue to keep your eyes closed and breathing. This is a meditation that has words, and it's a call and response kind of meditation where I will say the words to you, and then I'm going to ask you to repeat them right after me. Now, we can't hear one another, so if you would like to say them quietly or just to yourself, that's totally fine. But if you say them out loud, your whole body then begins to take these words and this energy on. So if you can, there's an invitation. So let's begin. Let's begin by bringing into your imagination a picture of somebody you love or somebody that you know loves you really, really a lot. And it could be somebody that you loved in the past that you still love, could be a pet, could be a teacher. Just allow yourself to bring that into your imagination and hold that picture if you can. And I'm going to say these words. You're going to hold that picture and then you're going to repeat the words. So the words are this: may you be filled with kindness. You say the words, may you be filled with kindness. May you be free from suffering. Now you say the words, may you be free from suffering. May you be happy. May you be happy. May you walk in peace. May you walk in peace. I just hold that feeling or that whatever is there for you right now. In that picture of someone that you love very much. And just allow yourself to feel that feeling, to just be with it. We're going to move now to another image. You can just let that one go. And I'm going to ask you to bring up an image into your imagination of yourself, of yourself. And it could be at any age. It could be right now. It could be 6 or 26, doesn't matter. See what comes up for you. An image of yourself. And we're going to say these words to you, and you'll be saying them to yourself. May I be filled with kindness. May I be filled with kindness. May I be free from suffering. May I be free from suffering. May I be happy. May I be happy. May I walk in peace. Wonderful. I can see mouths moving. That's awesome. Holding that image of yourself and any emotions or feelings that are there. And now we're just going to let that image go. And I'm going to ask you to bring in an image of someone or someone's that you might have conflict with. And I don't mean severe conflict. I don't mean trauma. I just mean someone that is difficult or has been difficult. I'm just holding that image in your mind's eye. And we'll say these words to that person or persons. May you be filled with kindness. May you be filled with kindness. May you be free from suffering. May you be free from suffering. May you be happy. May you walk in peace. Beautiful, beautiful. And this is be our last line. I'm asking you to let go of that image of the person you have difficulties or conflicts with, and to bring in the image of our planet, our beautiful Mother Earth, Gaia, the world, however you see it in your mind's eye, your imagination. You might see it as a globe, you might see the oceans and the plant or the plants and the trees, however you see our planet, Mother Earth. Hold that image in your mind's eye, and we'll say these words to our planet. May all beings be filled with kindness. May all beings be filled with kindness. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be happy. May all beings walk in peace. And just allow yourself the next couple moments to feel into that and let whatever is there be there. And when you feel ready, I invite you to come back to the circle, open your eyes, look around, here at humanity. Definitely the beauty of humanity here today. Yes. So staying with this feeling or this space or this energy that you're in right now, this is the special part I want us to do together. So what we're going to do, or I'm going to ask you to do, is to write a short loving kindness meditation to yourself. So there it is on the bottom. with the blanks, and on the top is the words that we used just now in our meditation. So if you would, on your paper, just write, may I be filled with, and fill in the blank. May I be free from, fill in the blank. May I be, fill in the blank. And this is about you and for you. And we'll just take about a minute. First thing that comes to your mind is always the best in this. Wonderful. First thing that comes to your mind, you can always change it later if it's something better you think should be there. Just so you have the 3 lines filled out. Great. Oh, about 15 more seconds. This will work even if you have 1 line filled out, so don't worry. Okay, so looks like everybody's not writing. Great. So here's what we're going to do. Only if you want to do it, of course. But if you would now just get your labyrinths and hold them up. I know this is a tradition. It's a lovely one. Yay. Yay, yay. Ooh, we got them all. Ooh, look at this. Colors. Oh my gosh. Pillows. Awesome. Okay. Thank you. Now I'm going to ask you to put it over your heart, or just put it over your heart, or just put it next to your heart, or rock it. I see somebody rocking it. That's great. Just hold it next to your heart. So you're just like, you know, fueling it up with your heart energy. Okay. So while you have it next to your heart, I'm going to give you just 2 more instructions. We're going to go into the labyrinth walk in just a few minutes, like you're all very familiar with, and there'll be music. Kathleen's going to play us music. And what I invite you to do is when you begin the walk is just to look at your meditation that you wrote for yourself again. Feel into it, and then just walk your labyrinth. And when you get to the middle of the labyrinth, look at it again and say that meditation and just allow yourself to feel. Just let yourself to feel it. And if you want to release it, so be it. If you want to just keep it here, so be it, whatever you're moved to do. But this is a meditation that you can say at the beginning of the walk and also in the center. So that's what we're going to do. So go ahead and just put your labyrinths in your lap or your table, however you do it. And Kathleen's going to turn on the music. I'll call you back in about 10 to 12 minutes. So this will be playing while you walk your labyrinth, and feel free to start anytime now.
Okay.
everyone, if you would begin to find your way back to the circle, to the group. Wonderful, wonderful. I forgot how terrifically awesome it is to watch and be with you as you are walking your labyrinths. There's such a calmness and beautiful energy um, that seems to be just coming through the Zoom. So thank you all for that. I want to just remind everybody about energy. Legacy Labyrinth Project, we're all about looking at energy, but thinking about walking at one as one, right? When you say that intention with everybody that's on the labyrinth with you, and then with everybody that's around the world with you, with us, that energy is there. That energy is out there. And so if that moves you at all, I ask you to think about that as you walk your labyrinth, because your energy, the people that's with you, energy, and then it moves. And the whole idea of World Labyrinth Day is because we all have different 1 o'clocks, right? Is that the energy moves from this 1 o'clock to this 1 o'clock to this 1 o'clock, and then ends up around Hawaii at the end. Starts in New Zealand, ends in Hawaii. So thank you for all that are participating. And if you're not participating, don't worry about it. You can even just on May 3rd at 1 o'clock, just be, just say your prayer if you want to at 1 o'clock. It's all energy. So thank you, everybody. This is always fills my heart. Please know that you can use your prayer, your meditation that you wrote anytime on a labyrinth, not on a labyrinth. But obviously it creates energy for you, and that's really the point. I want to just make a couple announcements because I know this is the time for that, and then I'll turn it over to Kathleen. But I'll be in Kansas City at Unity Village with doing a World Labyrinth Day event. If anyone's in the area and wants to come, it's obviously free, and we'd love to have you on our 92-foot labyrinth, which is pretty awesome. And if you do have an event, I know that the Labyrinth Society would like you, if you want to register your event on the World Labyrinth Day web page. And you can send pictures, and then they make this beautiful video afterwards that we all get to enjoy. So if that moves you, you can do that as well. But thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. And I'm going to turn this over to Kathleen.
Okay, and I'm going to ask Lars to come in for a moment.
Thank you. Thank you, Christine and Kathleen. It's great to be back with everybody. So Dawn wanted me to share a couple of events that Veriditas is participating in. And, if you're not near these two events, there is the World Labyrinth Day map that you can go on and see, and search for events around the world and click on the button and find the information, about that event. So Veriditas next week, instead of having our normal Friday handheld labyrinth walk, we're having 2 Saturday finger walks for World Labyrinth Day. So there'll be no Friday walk. And there's one registration link for both events with Lauren Artris as our facilitator. And it will be at 10 a.m. Pacific and then 1 p.m. Pacific. So the first one is actually 1 p.m. East Coast time, and the second one is 1 p.m. West Coast time. So we're bridging North America here with that. So you can register. There's one link for both events. And then Ellen Vivoda, who's the chair of World Labyrinth Day, and me are going to have a in-person event in Washington, D.C. at St. Columba Episcopal Church. So there's a beautiful outdoor labyrinth by Nathan Wiles, and we'll have a walk at 1. So you can begin gathering at noon, and if you have friends or family in the D.C. area, then also feel free to let them know. That's at 4201 Albemarle Street in Washington, D.C. So St. Columba's Episcopal Church with Ellen and myself. And then at Grace Cathedral, um, there's an event from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. California time. And both indoor and outdoor labyrinths will be available for walking. Judith Tripp will be there and helping to facilitate, and Dr. Richard Elsner, who's the author of Walking the Church Year, Personal Devotions for a Labyrinth Prayer Practice, will be there. There's music by Destiny Muhammad, who was the first musician to play for Labyrinth Walks, along with Diana Stork, who's not going to be there, but Destiny Muhammad will be there. Mirabai, Sydney Chin will be doing music boxes. And then this is a really incredible thing. Terry Fox is an artist who lived in San Francisco, and he scored a Labyrinth soundtrack with the purring of 11 different cats. So inside the cathedral, they'll be playing this soundtrack of cats purring, and each cat is connected to a different circuit of the 11 circuit labyrinth. So you walk as you listen to these different cats in different circuits, and then if you end up at the center at the right time, you'll hear all 11 cats at once in a chorus. So pretty fun. So to register for the handheld walks, again, it's just like normal. You go to the veriditas.org website, and if you go to the calendar, you can also find them there. So thank you.